yeah, I got a good deal. And then it falls apart and you're mad about it. And you're like, I should have just went with the higher end product and then it will last me longer.
Welcome to the Big Brand Theory Podcast by Blackwood Creative.
All right, so my one of my favorite places to have lunch, which you know this, is Panera Bread, and they have a thing called You Pick Two, which is appropriate. Because today we're talking about the trifecta of speed, quality, and price. And then the idea is you pick two. Because you can't have all three.
Very seldom you can't have all three. Sometimes you get the unicorn. Very, very seldomly you get the unicorn. But not even on average, 99% of the time, you're choosing two.
So, quality talks about the quality of the product. I've got a Yeti mug here. These are high quality. Mm-hmm. They've definitely checked that box. Let's use this as an example. Then we have speed, which is the turnaround. How quickly can you get the item? How quickly can the service be done? Whatever it is. Then you have price, and usually price is the lowest price, like the best price kind of thing. So if we look at this custom etched Yeti, we may be able to check the box on, well, we're checking the box on quality because it's a Yeti mug and it's etched, so it's great there. Boom, got that. Now we only get one of the other two, which is speed and price. Well, we can pretty much knock out price because this is a $50 mug. Mm-hmm. And it's probably the most expensive mug, not even like middle of the road. It's not the cheapest by at all. So it's not going to check that box.
No.
But usually Yeti can turn these around and get them to us so that we can etch and we can turn them around in probably a week and a half.
Which is good considering.
Which is a good speed. It's not next day if we carried some in stock and...
Well, if we only did those, then that would be a different
That's a different
situation.
story. Yeah. But, so out of three, we've checked the box on quality and speed and not anywhere close on price.
Nope.
But I think there's a lot of customers that want to look at this and say, well, I really want that high quality thing and I need it in a week because I procrastinated and now my lack of planning is now your problem. And then they want to say, oh, well, I also can you do it for me cheaper?
Or can you do it at the same price as this lower quality thing that I found that's not the same thing, but I want it at that price?
Right.
That's that's like the thing that everybody does now. They're like, I have it over here for this price, can you match that? And you're like, it's not the same thing. Like, this is a Yeti mug.
Apples and oranges here.
You're talking about an $8 mug off of Amazon that we can put ice in our Yeti mugs and literally in the morning at 7 in the morning and there'll still be ice in them the next morning sometimes.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. It's the only cup that I've ever had that's done that. And I've bought not cheap, but mid-tier tumblers and stuff like that are sealed and everything and double wall insulated, all that. It's not the same. They have figured it out and they know what they're doing.
Yeah, every night I put ice water in this thing and in the morning I get up and the water is still freezing cold. And that's why I know this is a quality product.
That has function. That's the part too that a lot of times people will cheap out and they don't understand that by cheaping out you cut away some of that function. If your job, or you're not a job, but if you're wanting to have that because you're like, I want my coffee to last all day warm or hot or whatever, it's like, okay, but if you cheap out on a different product, you're not going to get that.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes you got to think of the end use.
Right. As a consumer, we have to consider when we look at all three of these options here, what do we want at the end of the day? Is it this quality, this is great, I can use this every single day, I feel good about it? Or is it just like, you know what, I'm probably going to lose it anyways, so I'm going to go over here and care a little bit more about price and maybe get 2 of them, so if I lose one, oh well. Well, if I lose this, I'm gonna get a little upset because $50 mug here. I don't want to buy one of these very often. No. But that's just where, like, it's as a consumer, we have to consider what do I really want out of this product or service, and based on that, which one of these 3 or which 2 of these 3 things, quality, speed, price, is most important to me. A lot of people, which I get it, I'm not gonna say that you should by default pick one thing over the other, but a lot of people just start with price. How can I get this at the cheapest possible level? Which I think it's good to be prudent, it's good to shop around and like not overpay for things, but it's not like the cheapest thing is always the best thing.
It's not always the actual answer that you need. Right. Either. It's not that it's not the best thing or the worst thing. It's literally not going to solve the problem that you're looking to solve. So if you buy something that's inadequate, that's literally not going to do the job, you're going to be mad, and then you're going to go and buy the real thing and you paid the cheap tax.
Right. And there's that saying that the bitterness of poor quality sets in a long time after the sweetness of the low price has been forgotten. So it's this idea of like, yeah, I got a good deal. And then it falls apart and you're mad about it. And you're like, I should have just went with the higher end product and then it will last me longer. But again, it's not the case for everything. We look at gas prices. Yeah, I expect my gas to be like not garbage.
Right.
So it's got to check that quality. But I also kind of want the lowest price I possibly can get on that.
And obviously, I mean, it's relative to getting it fast because you can get it almost in any corner. So like that box is already ticked.
Yeah.
But the other part is too, like a good example as well is like furniture. Like I see it all the time that people are like, let's just go to IKEA. And I'm like, that makes sense if you're in an apartment and like you don't plan on having that stuff for 3 to 5 years past when you leave or whatever. But I mean, think about it. If you inherit stuff from your grandparents or whatever, you're like, this stuff is made of real wood and it's from 1939.
Right.
And like still works perfectly and like it was made to a different standard. And that is the part that I think people miss these days, is that if you constantly just chase price and you want to go to the bottom of that, you're going to miss out on the other aspects of it. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, another good example is, we might be able to do a high quality thing and we might be able to do it for a cheaper price, but it's not going to get done tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like that's another thing too, is like if you have, I mean, even Amazon does that, right?
Yeah.
Amazon does it where it's like, hey, you don't need this in 2 days. We'll give you a digital $2 if you let it be a week.
Yeah.
So like sometimes if I'm ordering like toilet paper or shampoo or something like that, I'm like, yeah, I don't care.
I don't need it tomorrow.
And over the year, I can literally buy like 5 to 6 ebooks with all the digital dollars that I save from not being like, I need it now.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So there's Seth Godin says the problem with the race to the lowest price is you might win, right? And we don't necessarily want to be the cheapest place in town. I know my business is, we're probably more expensive than a lot of our competitors, because we'd rather have quality and speed and really focus in on those than try to be cheap.
Right.
Not like we're, dramatically overpriced or anything like that. But what we see is that, like, I've acquired print shops that have gone out of business or had to retire early because they raced to the bottom to try to be the lowest price. And then they realized, I'm not actually making any money. And then they go out of business. So it's like, that's where Seth Godin saying the problem with the race to the bottom is you might win. And what happens then? Well, you lose. So as a business owner, not just the owner, but like as a business in general, and looking at the identity of the business and saying, this is who we are, these are the types of customers we serve, looking at these 3 things. And for me and for all of my businesses, we've said, let's put out really high quality stuff and let's be quick about it, right? Mm-hmm. Zip printing, quality printing, surprisingly fast. It's literally in our tagline. We say nothing about cheapest printing in town, right? Somebody else can do that. I don't care. But we're not going to be that.
Business cards at the lowest price or $9.99 for 500. It's like, yeah, that's to get you in the door, and then they're going to hit you with that $80 set the next time. Like, we work in marketing. We know how that works.
Yeah. So, but that's what I've chosen to do, right? And that doesn't mean that everybody needs to do that. You look at some highly successful businesses, and they're all around saving you money. Like you look at Walmart is the biggest example of like, hey, we've got everything, so you can get it almost any time. They even like chasing after Amazon with their online quick shipping and all that kind of stuff. So they're trying to be fast on stuff. And then they're also trying to be the cheapest. We always got discounts. You look at Kohl's, everything's on sale always, like cheapest possible price. We'll match the competitor's price no matter what. All that stuff. You can play that game, and I think some will do it well. It just means you got to do a lot more volume. Right. So when you look at those three and say, well, if I'm going to go after price, and then I'm going to need to be able to do a lot of volume, and I got to do it fast.
I think with Walmart, though, is they're one of the few exceptions that can be the trifecta. They can easily beat something out on price. They relatively have it quickly. And it's not that it's always like just the cheapest, crappiest thing either. Like you're getting generally a name brand of some kind. So I feel like they can really hit on all three. The problem is, like you said, is the volume. Like they have to do such a mass volume and have so many stores and so many people shop there that they've kind of developed a reputation of where I don't like to shop because of, you know, other factors of like, I might be able to go in there and get it today, but I'm gonna have to wait 45 minutes in line because there's one cash register open.
Right. So my thought process on that is that these three things apply to more than just your product. So Walmart, where I feel like Walmart has lost quality, it's is in the customer experience, right? So we know that if you go into a Walmart and you go into a Target, you have two very different experiences. Target is warm, there's a Starbucks, it's very clean, there's plenty of people walking around ready to serve you, ready to help you, whereas Walmart is cold, loud, lots of people around, very few employees, all that kind of stuff. Even in the quality of experience is even in the parking, which I talked about the other day on LinkedIn, is that like if you go to Walmart, go at like 6 a.m. and you'll notice, that's weird. All the front spaces are all taken up in the parking lot.
All the
employees are parking as close as they can because Walmart has not gone and said, hey, you're here to serve our customer. You park 40 spaces back and walk, or here's the employee parking lot over here on the side or something like that. When you go to Target, same exact, they're open at 6 a.m., but early, before they open, there's 40 spots, then the employee parking.
Lowe's does it too. They have it at the very back of it. A lot of trucks and stuff park at the outer edge of the parking lot.
Yeah, and so that's where I think you look at these three things and you apply them to more than just your product. You apply them to your customer experience, to your branding, to your building, to everything. And you look and you say, well, as a whole, if we look at a whole, we compare the Walmarts and the Targets, generally we're going to say Target is better quality in general. In general. So, and Target is saying, while I think they need to give up the, pay less or something. There's some tagline that they've had, and maybe they already have, and they're slowly getting rid of it. But it was just like, hey, you can get everything here, and you can save money. It's like, okay, Target, like we know we can pretty much get it anywhere else for a little bit cheaper.
Yeah,
but come to you.
If you go to Target and you get your groceries in like a few tops or jeans or shoes or whatever, stationery, a TV, anything like that, I would say in general you're paying the comfort tax is what I like to think of it as. Like, I'm gonna go to this store because it's more comfortable. I get to have, like you said, Starbucks and all that, and customer experience is more employees. I can't say that there's more cashiers open because there's right now lack of people that are working and whatnot. And
outside of a pandemic,
right,
post-pandemic
but
world.
in general, like you said, it's just a better experience.
Yeah.
And I think I like to conform two different things, and I'm sure there's probably listeners that will say, no, I like the other one too. But if you go to Target, generally you are also a fan of Chick-fil-A. If you go to Walmart, you're probably more of a fan of like McDonald's or Wendy's or Burger King. Like that's just, I like to almost part that sea a little bit there.
Yeah. Well, and that's a prime example as well when you look at the restaurant world and you compare a Chick-fil-A to a McDonald's. we know right away that, Chick-fil-A's checking that quality and speed box, and they are not trying to be cheaper than McDonald's. Nobody is. And McDonald's is over here saying $1 is all you need to have lunch, basically. And like, there's no way that you're getting quality food for $1. It's just, no matter what Johnny Chaga says, it's just not happening.
He loves his McDonald's.
He loves his McDonald's. But yeah, but that's just one of those things where, and that's fine. You look at Johnny and his goal is like, I like McDonald's because he likes the taste of the food, and that's neither here nor there, but he knows that it's the cheapest option, and he can go there and get more food for less money.
Right.
But I like Chick-fil-A because I know that I'm getting quality food, and I don't mind spending a couple extra dollars to know that I have, like, let's be honest, real food versus unsure, I'm not certain. So McDonald's, please.
You look at McDonald's chicken sandwich and you look at Chick-fil-A's chicken sandwich and you just pull the meat off and you're just like, that looks like it was made in a lab and that looks like it came like from a farm.
Yeah.
So
it's important, I think, for businesses to really pay attention to that and identify, like, who are our customers, what do they value out of these three things? And if we said our customers would pick two of them, which two would they be? So there's almost very rarely a time when quality and low price is picked together.
Usually it's quality and speed.
Yeah. Usually it's either quality and price with speed. So you kind of pick those and you're not picking just quality and low price, because that generally doesn't ever apply. If I want this table, I want a really nice table, like, the quality is kind of just demanding higher price because I'm picking a higher price wood and I'm I'm
just
going
the sheer
slower and taking more time.
Building it, labor and all that, like.
Yeah.
It's not like made by you and folded up into 80 different configurations in a box from IKEA. Like, that's the difference.
Yep.
But what you choose is how you move forward. And it's okay to choose whatever two you choose. But ideally, remember, you can only choose two.